All right, so we got a t-shirt change. Liking that one. If you got on.
My one says sidemountain.com. Yeah.
Good choice, good choice. Okay, so we were very kindly given some new bands to test.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll start with what I thought, to be honest. This is the one I've been using for quite some time,
Okay.
which is the normal sort of band, the standard I think they call it, with the thumb or finger tab.
And the 4 centimetre one.
On the top, and the 4 centimetre.
Yeah.
Now, I still am a fan of the 4 centimetre. I do like it. However, I've been using the 6 centimetre without a worry at all. And because I've been diving steels this time round, I'm probably leaning towards, if you go in steels, go with the thicker webbing or the wider webbing. Now, we also were testing out the Evo loop, weren't we? Which is this one.
Yes, yeah.
Rather than having the tab here. Now, I am leaning towards this being slightly better, simply because the cylinders I was using, they had netting on them. Now, I definitely don't recommend netting on cylinders.
Yes.
But given they were rentals from the centre, couldn't really modify that. Either way, not a big deal. But I did find it nice that you could put your whole finger or thumb in there and it lifted the middle of that band. So actually putting the hoses in wasn't too much of an issue.
Just lifting it all off the tank rather than just folding down a piece.
Just folding down a piece, yeah. So I'm leaning towards that, to be honest.
Okay.
And again, it's, that was another one I had. So pretty nice, they can print logos on, names on them.
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out to me, I mean, yeah, they look really smart, and that's the first thing. I've had one set now for about 3 years, and it's still going strong, so super durable. I think the thing that I'm doing, where it's mostly diving in the steel tank, well, you're doing a lot of things like stowing a long hose, and you are using the tank band to support the weight of the steel as you put the hose. I mean, I prefer the thicker band for that reason. The other thing that I've got is I've got a bit of a funny kink in one of my hoses. And when I've got more distance, I've got more actual retaining of the actual band itself. So I'm kind of getting away with this really odd little kink that doesn't behave itself.
Just forcing it to go where you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing that, as well, that's actually interesting about the thicker one is that if you, if we like demonstrate a bolt snap failure, and we are, and we're going to use a double ender to secure the base of the tank onto the D-ring, because this has got a little bit more purchase on it. By the time you've got the gate open and through this, I actually get a bit more support of the tank.
Yeah.
So it's kind of looking to hold that tank just a little bit better. So this is why I'm gonna stick with the 6 for me. The Evo strap, haven't had a chance to try that, but now that I see yours, I'm gonna get my hands on those.
Well, I'll leave them with you.
But then stiffness-wise, how did you find them? How easy did you find to pull them?
Well, on a normal cylinder, on a steel like your tanks, they work great. Even new, they were pretty good.
Yep.
On ones that had the netting, to be honest, they were too stiff. But that's not, I think, a problem with the band itself. It's more the combination, the fact that the steel cylinder had netting on it.
Yeah, well, we actually measured the circumference. The 12 litre with the netting is almost the same circumference as the Alu 11.
Oh, okay. So that
physically making it larger, and that's where that's coming from. It's just more tension on the band.
Yeah, and plus it's a very the netting itself adds a lot of friction.
Bit of friction as you slide.
And of course the band does combined with that. But what we did test out was something that they asked us to. They were experimenting with a softer, more elastic, more stretchy elastic. And again, to be honest with you, that did work quite well.
I think what was interesting with this was that the people that we first gave the bands to that hadn't used these kinds of bands before, they're actually having much more success with this kind of grade material, the thickness and I think the stretchiness of this. So I think this is what we ended up moving them on to after having about 3 or 4 days with the other bands.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't advise using the stretchy material with a thinner band than this. I think they definitely need to keep the webbing that thick. Probably a good idea. I'm still leaning towards, for aluminium use, possibly these. But having said that, I mean, you know, I kind of like the way the Evo loops are.
Yeah.
So if that fits an alley quite well, probably just go with those.
Typically we're diving something like 2 bands, let's say on a long hose tank, 1 band what would be on the short hose tank. But what do you think about either having 3 bands on the long hose side? You think that's adding any real benefit, or you think it's maybe just making it a little bit harder to stow the hoses?
You've just got an extra thing to stow it in, right? I've had no trouble keeping the hose really well stowed with just 2 bands.
But then the other thing that I see a lot is, you know, where you put the metal Jubilee band. Some people are putting the fabric band below it.
Sure.
Some are putting it above it.
Sure. Where's
the right place for it?
Honestly, I quite like it below it.
Okay.
Simply because you just get you get that bottom of the loop core restrained, let's say, onto the cylinder. Because I think that if you have it above the Jubilee, it just allows it to bow out a little bit at the bottom, and that can easily get caught when you're pulling it out of the car, when you're moving it on the dive site, getting it on the shore.
And that's made worse when you're let's say a shorter person with that cylinder band higher up the cylinder.
Sure. Then you've got even more sticking out, right?
So that's why I'm having more of a trouble then, is it?
Yeah, it could be.
Well, great.
Cool.